All right, we're here today to talk about stress on the skin. It's like, it's our pet love to look at, you know, problems on skin and think about it. You all know Claire. Claire is our Chief Innovation Officer at Trinny London, but Claire, most importantly, has a heritage which gives her more knowledge and research than I could ever have hot dinners, really.
Very kind.
I'd say that. But we both have this passion. So if you're thinking, how does stress affect your skin? And would you like to think of what solutions and what are the right ingredients and what should you be doing and what should you not be doing? This is what we're going to be talking about today. All right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Trinny, we're more stressed than we've ever been, yeah? And I think technology's got a lot to play for that, yeah? Life is so much more fast-paced. And there's even research that's showing now that we're like 50% more stressed than we were even 5 years ago.
And do you think that is, I mean, I wonder how much of that is to do with technology. Technology is like my biggest love and also the thing that can most drain us in a way. And like,
it's hard to switch off, and I think that's the thing about your brain just always being active. And you're not actually being kind of grounded in yourself. And I think that's the thing which, for me especially, is finding that time to ground myself and not just be, you know, scrolling on Instagram.
Scrolling.
When I'm in downtime where I'm not regenerating, I'm actually just doing something like...
You're going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, we talk a lot about protecting your skin in the day and regenerating at night. And we are going to talk about distress today. Yeah. And I thought what we could do as we have this conversation about stress is we can both do a makeup look. All right. So I'm going to give Claire, wonder why that's called that. And I'm going to give me Lucy. And we'll take all your questions on stress as we're going to. And you've got a bit of makeup on.
Yeah.
You have. Do you want to do the eyes a bit more?
Yeah, I can do the eyes. Yeah, we can.
Ooh, yeah. So I want to ask you one thing whilst I get the things together. Is if we are on a screen, and let's just talk about blue light effect as stress on the skin, because I go to sleep in front of it. This is so bad, and I know it's bad for my skin right now because I've done it for 2 weeks and my skin looks very weird in the morning, but I fall asleep quite close to a screen as I do it to help me get sleep.
Can I tell you something really interesting about blue light?
Tell me.
5 days in front of your computer screen, so for most of us, that's how we might work, is equal to 25 minutes in midday sun without any sun protection.
So 5 days on your screen. Yeah,
so just working in front of a computer. Yeah. 5 days a week is the same as 25 minutes in midday sun without any sun protection. Really? That adds up. That adds up. If you think about it, and that's the thing about stress is, you know, if you're constantly stressed, it's actually going to age you faster. That's a proven fact. So people that live more stressful lives, it shows on their skin.
I mean, everyone here will identify with this too. I mean, I don't know how many of you feel when you look at your skin. How many of you, Elaine, I'm sorry you got a fractured ankle, but how many of you feel you'll look and you'll see
your skin is blotchy,
dehydrated.
It damages your barrier, it causes inflammation, and it actually starts to break down your collagen over time.
Okay, I want to talk about that element because one thing is just surface stuff.
Yes.
But that continual
chronic stress,
which releases lots of cortisol onto your epidermis, which is the stress-releasing hormone. So tell me the effect then. So we're stressed. I'm like, I came in here this morning going, sorry, Faith and Hobby. And then I can't feel the tingling on my face, but then how immediately do I release cortisol? It's happening as I'm stressed.
As you're stressed, it's immediately released, but cortisol is there for this fight or flight, So it's only meant to be in short bursts, But our life nowadays
is boom, boom, boom,
boom, boom, boom all of the time, And when you've got something stressful or traumatic, you know, so if you have like a death in the family and you go through that grief process, it can age you. I definitely aged when my mum passed, but it is those things where chronic stress, you want it to be short, sharp, and then you go back to a calm state and balance. When you can't go back to balance, that's when everything it causes inflammation, it breaks down the collagen, it's damaging your barrier, your skin gets dehydrated.
And dehydration is something I notice straight away when I'm stressed. How do you feel I'm sorry, you've got COVID at the moment.
But also
let's talk about
COVID was
COVID,
massively stressful for people. I think everybody probably felt a bit of the stress of COVID on their skin.
I think on just how when you're ill, you drain the kind of nutrients and energy in your skin from that just kind of sapping of energy with others. I do feel that stress affects your skin. Yes, I think it does too.
Does.
And tell us how you feel you're getting that stress on your skin, because I'm just going to talk about ingredients we love. All right. So when we look at these are my eyeshadow shades. Thank you, darling. Okay, I'm just going to do a bit of truth. I can do a bit of truth. So if we've got a stress and it comes onto the surface, cortisol is released.
Yeah.
You can't see cortisol, but it sits there. And it sits on top of everything, doesn't it? So it's like if you had SPF on, if you have SPF on, and you've done your skincare routine in the morning, for example, all right? And you put SPF on and everything, it will come out and sits. It's the thing that sits right here. So we've always been interested to research, and years ago, I had researched an ingredient that could reduce the effect of cortisol on your skin.
Yeah.
And I'd always been obsessed with this ingredient. And then when Claire joined us, I was like, Claire, let's research this ingredient more. So you came with all this research on this ingredient.
Yeah, so neurophroline.
Neurophroline. Yeah. And tell me how neurophroline works, because neurophroline is in here, and sometimes people use products without knowing what's in them and how they work. But I think it's really good to describe to you how it works, because there's so much marketing stories in skincare. There's so much crap in beauty. And so for us to do something that it would really work was the biggest challenge. And it's kind of interesting to go through the process. Like whenever you buy anything, any skincare product, any beauty product, it's good to know the story of how did that formulation evolve and what happened that we came to the conclusion. So the first thing with us was we thought, how can we reduce stress?
Yeah.
So
we actually started from like a skincare serum.
Yeah.
So this was before the days that we actually had our own skincare range. Yeah. And I think you were very passionate about being able to, like, this neurophroline as an ingredient is super, super powerful. Yeah. It is basically able to control the production of cortisol on the skin. Yeah. So cortisol, when it's released,
I always say it just sort of like
sits in your, it basically sits in your skin cells. Yeah. And when it's not switched off throughout the day, it's actually then causing havoc. Yeah. So what the de-stress is able to do is actually neutralize that cortisol that's in the skin cells. So it basically is switching it off. Yeah. Right. So that is a really important point, and using that every day. Yeah. And that's the key thing. It's not just a one day thing that, I only was stressed today and I'm never stressed again. So you've got it's actually the build up. It's like when I was saying about the blue light. It's the build up over time. Half an hour in midday sun once might not be too bad, but half an hour midday every single week. If you think about that, 52 weeks working in front of a screen or your phone, all of that is actually building up, and that's basically aging you that bit faster. Yeah.
So things to think about. And when we were developing this, it was in the middle of lockdown that we did the final development. But I do remember, and I tell the story because it was quite like the proof to me it was working. Yeah. Is I put it on in the morning, and when you look at yourself in the morning and you think, I look so fucking tired. And I just put it on because I was testing colours and I was testing formulation, and we go through a lot of testing. And I was putting it on, you put it on like it's a serum for your skin, and it just happens to have fantastic coverage. And I put it on the mirror, and then I was doing my stuff. And then about 2 hours later, somebody came to the door to deliver something to me. And they went, my God, Trinny, you look so great. And she's a lovely Colombian lady. It was Susanna. And I was like, I look shit. I know I look shit because I've just looked in the mirror and I look drained. I said, no, Trinny, you look amazing. You look amazing. And I was like, there she goes again, the, effusive Colombian. And then I looked in the mirror when she'd gone. And I thought, oh my God. And it takes time. So the neurophroline takes time. It's not like immediate. Immediate is you get lovely radiant coverage.
Well, it starts working immediately, but you actually can see a noticeable difference within 2 hours. Yeah. So your skin actually starts to look less it looks more rested, and it actually is helping to hydrate your skin, because we also have hyaluronic acid in this one. So we have low and high molecular weight, so it's really a plumping product as well, and it gives you this really nice radiant finish, so you just get this healthy appearance. So that's what you're getting instantly, because it's got a bit of coverage, but then actually the cortisol is starting to reduce after 2 hours, which is really, really powerful.
And it really does reduce. I mean, it just, the stress goes from your skin.
Yeah. This is like my favorite of all the products. That's why I...
Is it your favorite?
Yeah, it is. And that's why I have the Claire shade is named after me, because I was saying, Trinny, of all the things, if it was ever to have a name, I would love to be on this one, because I think it's such a special product. And the thing is, there is no makeup type product on the market, and I'm pretty confident around this, that would ever have as much skincare
ingredients. I know. I mean,
this is a true skincare serum, as well as then providing. So it's a real hybrid, and it provides, like, nobody is crazy enough to do what we've done.
I know. In fact, in terms of the formulation,
and even I thought you were a little bit crazy at the beginning, but I actually,
because I kept saying to Claire, I don't want 2%. I knew we had clinical trials on 2%. I want 10% neurophroline. Claire was like, it might not necessarily work, because there is an argument in skincare to say that there's a maximum amount that you need for something to work, and it needn't always be a high amount, but you know me, more is more.
But it's I always say it's like baking a cake. Just putting in 10% sugar isn't going to make it taste better.
It's not. It's not.
So it is about balance and finding the right levels to make the recipe work really well. But no, this one I think is really great.
So questions. Should we do some questions, darling?
I just saw somebody there asking about rosacea.
Yes, no, rosacea. I mean, why this is so good for rosacea? Do you want to describe that?
Well, the thing is, from the skincare serum side, it actually has anti-inflammatory ingredients, so it actually will be very good for rosacea, because that's an anti-inflammatory or an inflammatory condition. Yeah. So on the skincare side, it's actually really good, but it also has this kind of low to medium coverage, so that's quite buildable. So it is very good at covering rosacea without it looking too heavy, because I think that's the one thing when you have more sensitive skin is you don't want like a heavy coverage.
No, and sometimes with rosacea you have that slight dry patches which can feel flaky. So if you have any foundation which has too many pigments in it, it's going to sit on the top of your rosacea, and what you need is De-Stress, because you're going to get the silkiness of the formulation so that your skin doesn't so by covering your redness, it doesn't over exaggerate those dry areas.
Actually should help to calm redness over time. It's got hyaluronic acid, which is going to hydrate, and it's got the two levels, so low and high molecular weight, so it's working the surface but also deep in the skin, so it's repairing that barrier over time, and that's what you want, because your barrier is going to be compromised.
How much does hyaluronic acid, because we always talk about ceramides repairing skin barrier, but how much does hyaluronic acid have to play in protecting your skin barrier?
It's massive, so it is basically helping to stimulate all of the key cells that make up the barrier, so it's not the only player, but it's one of the most important players, and when it works on the surface, with having something that has the higher molecular weight and the lower molecular weight, it means it is also working deeper down in the skin. So and when your skin is hydrated, all your cells work better. I always say it's like, running a marathon. You can't run a marathon if you're dehydrated. You need the water to function. So everything works better when it's hydrated.
Hydration is key. Okay, questions, darling.
Is BFF De-Stress similar to a primer?
A primer really is going to, I mean, people call many things a primer, but traditionally a primer was something where it would balance out the oil on your skin, and it would allow your makeup to grip. So primers are skin prep work, and you can use, for me, one of the best primers is oddly using a mixture of Plump Up and Boost Up, because I just get my skin in that state. But our SPF is also, you can use, and it just will prep the skin. I think primers are usually, 100% of the time colour-free. They should be colour-free. So that'd be the biggest difference too. Next, so rosacea we've answered. Can you use this under rebalance, or do you use it as a standalone product? Rebalance, and let me show you the difference, because here's Rebalance, all right? And Rebalance is formulated to be a more soft matte coverage, and also has in it ingredients like niacinamide that are going to help sort of just reducing the oiliness of your skin.
The oil,
So if I'm doing something where I want more of a soft matte finish, I will take a pump of each, and I use the Rebalance for the properties of slight soft matteness. And if I've got a sort of congestion in my skin, I might just use Rebalance, or wanting fuller coverage. Yeah. But if you look at the two together, I'd
say this is like a medium coverage.
Yeah.
So medium coverage, matte. If you've got combination skin or oilier skin, where maybe your product doesn't last as long, then this one is really, really good. But I would never really use the two of them together, would you?
Oh, I use two together endlessly. I put the two together. Yeah, I do.
Well, I suppose
John and I, when we do makeup looks, I do the two together.
It's the finish that you want. Yeah.
And so it's kind of, it's a mixture. Sometimes perhaps my skin is really under the weather, and so having a bit more coverage but not wanting to be as soft.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you the difference in the two, actually, because I've just done here. So that's like
you see just
De-Stress,
the lovely little radiance.
Lovely radiance. And then that is the two of them together. So it's a gentler, so that's just got more radiance to it, and that's the two of them together. And if I had a third hand, but Claire has, I would do just Rebalance on its own to give you that sense of, it's a wrong colour for Claire, sorry.
100% wrong.
100% the wrong colour. So this is going to look yucky. I apologise, Claire. My God, I didn't realise, because you wear one shade less than me in Rebalance, in De-Stress. You can see there, that finish. There isn't really much. It's much thicker, and I'm going to give you that now to take it off. Okay, next question. Is it suitable for every season? I think that it's really important every single day, 365 days a year, to wear an SPF. So when we talk about every season, I think it's more that, you know, we just did something recently in the studio, which I love doing, Claire. We did a shout out to people saying, have you been wearing the same makeup for many years? And we had lots of people come in the studio this week, and we made them over, and a lot of them were, I've been wearing the same base for a long time. So I think it's less about, I mean, seasonality is, you know, in the summer, do you want, because you've got so much more daylight on you so much more often, do you want it, you don't want to look like you're wearing a lot of base, I think, because then it just shows up. Whereas in winter, we feel we sort of hide behind the clouds. So for coverage on the skin, not looking like coverage, De-Stress is brilliant, 365 days a year. Just if you're thinking, do I need to change the appearance of my skin? Is my foundation going into my lines? Am I feeling that it's making me look tired? These are all really good reasons on changing or addressing the fact of, should you change your coverage and should you change the finish? But I
also think, because it's a buildable and it's light to medium, I can wear it lighter in the summer and a little bit heavier in the winter if I wanted
you could
to.
do 2 layers.
And the thing for me is, because I'm stressed in my life, the consistency of using it all the time is the thing that I want. I want the skincare benefit all year round. If you're just chopping and changing and using it one day and then not for another week, you're never going to maximize the benefits of actually trying to basically age slower.
So a tinted serum foundation that helps you age slower. That's a great way of describing BFF De-Stress, actually. I've never described it that way, and it's perfect. I always put usually BFF SPF 30 underneath, or a BFF or an SPF 50 before I apply De-Stress. Another question, I need to understand the best order of how to use BFF De-Stress in my skincare routine. So exactly that. Do your normal skincare routine. So what's your skincare routine, Claire?
My skincare is Better Off. Tiptoe in.
The gel balm.
So the tiptoe in, the PHA. I use that morning and night. I use Plump Up. I'm not using a retinol right now. Because my skin's just a little bit too sensitive. And then I'll do Bounce Back and an SPF 50.
Okay. All right.
And then De-Stress.
And then you do De-Stress. So I will do in the morning Be Your Best Cleansing Balm, unless I'm washing my hair, and then I do the Better Off Cleansing Gel. Then I'll do the Tiptoe and PHA, then I do Plump Up, then I do Boost Up, then I do SPF, and well, I do a tiny bit of Energize Me, actually. I'm using Energize Me so much at the moment, I'm loving it. It says 2 moisturizers, but Energize Me is just brilliant. For where we are now, seasonality, it's all I need. And then I will do SPF and the De-Stress. It might seem a lot of layers, but each time I'm putting different ingredients into my skin that are really helping it, and that's always what I'm obsessed with. Questions, yes. So,
Someone asked, will adding more throughout the day top up the de-stressing effect?
well, what I do is I usually come in the office and I put it on,
Yeah.
and then at about 5 o'clock I might put another layer on before I go out for dinner.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If I'm going out in the evening, I
Yeah.
will add another layer. But the thing for me is, from the skincare side of it, if the more you put on, the more effective it's going to be. Yeah. So I think for the de-stressing effect, twice a day would be great.
Yeah.
But I only really reapply if I need to, like if I'm going out in the evening.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's so good for you. So it's not a bad thing at all.
And I think that when we first used foundations in our life, we always felt that would smother our skin, not make it breathe. You know, for people who've never used much base.
This one is so breathable.
And actually helping your skin too.
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm just going to I'm here putting some little makeup on because I just feel I need to put some shasha on. So next question.
Is it suitable for sensitive skin?
Yes. And it has a lot of kind of the ingredients that we chose with the neurophroline and also the antioxidants. They
All
have
good
anti-inflammatory effects, so really good for sensitive skin.
Yeah. And just reducing that sense of inflammation. Yeah.
So nice.
I'm going to do some shasha. I'm going orange today, in case you haven't noticed. Yeah. Next question.
Does BFF De-Stress work for all ages?
Absolutely. I mean, I just, going back to all these women who've come in this week, and it's like, we need to address, funnily enough, it's one of Lila's favourite products, and she only recently discovered it. She's like, she gets fed up with, you know, looking at Trinny stuff, and then suddenly she says, Mummy, this is a great product. And I'm like, Lila, I brought that out a year and a half ago. And she said, yeah, but I only just started wearing it, and I love it. So Lila was 19. But then, you know, we have that thought that we believe, which is every 10 years you should really look at what you're putting on your skin, because our skin does move and shift and change, and
absolutely,
you know, the texture changes, the levels of oiliness change,
and then when you start going through perimenopause or menopause is like dramatic.
And then when you come out the other side, it's great, by the way, you know, because I come out the
not
other
when you're
side
going through it.
I know. But I think that these are all times to challenge what we're putting on our skin, and does it sit comfortably. And I think De-Stress works unbelievably well because it is so skincare focused for all different ages, to give ingredients to the skin that make your skin feel its optimum. All right, darling. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
No, absolute pleasure.
You are a fountain of knowledge, Claire. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And any other questions, we'll answer them on the feed later. But if you would like another deep dive into things that we do, let us know. Leave messages on that, because I think sometimes there's so much mystery around skincare and ingredients. And if you'd like Claire and I to do a deep dive on ingredients you've heard about a lot but don't understand that well, then it's good. How do you tell your undertone, Sandra? The best thing, if you can't wear peach colours, does that mean you are pink undertoned? If you can't wear peach colours, well, if you're pink undertoned, you probably suit cool neutral colours. And if you're yellow or red undertoned, you suit warmer shades. That's a really generalistic way of describing it. If you're neutral, which I am, you can kind of dip into either. So I'd say the best thing is to do match to me at Trinny London, because that will really help you to work out who you are. And if you kind of look at it and you do it and you think, I kind of get it, but let me have it confirmed, go to the lookbook on Trinny London, because there's 120 models, all different skin tones. And you can think, actually, I thought I was this, but when I look at what she's wearing, it's the same. That's great. Or no, I'm a different shade. So I'd suggest you do that. Any other final question? Burning desire question? Or are we done?
One more, yes.
Yeah.
It was about layering De-Stress with BFF SPF 30. Great.
Well, we love doing BFF SPF 30 every day. So I think you and I both layer it on. underneath. So
absolutely.
Apart from at night.
Always have an SPF, so
Always have an SPF.
Yeah.
From the Queen of SPF on my right. Alrighty, more later. Take care.